Hi, and thank you so much to everyone who left a comment on my first video. We're all born with the ability to communicate with animals, and it's fascinating to hear how working with your intuition has opened you up to your potential. I'm P. Horsley. I'm a professional animal communicator, TEDx speaker, best-selling author of 3 books, founder of the Pride Animal Wisdom Membership, and creator of Conversations with Nature World Summit. And I am an ambassador for animal communication. People are drawn to animal communication for many reasons, but one of the main reasons people come to me to learn and to understand what animals want at a deeper level is to enhance their bond. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to put your abilities into action and explore how you can start receiving information through communicating with your own animal. The most important thing is that we give our full attention to the animal we wish to communicate with. Instead of being distracted by thoughts of everything we need to get done or concerns over what's happening or might happen, we're in the present moment with all of our focus on the animal, and this is called active listening. If we are actively listening, and I use the word listening loosely here with the emphasis on being receptive, we'll be able to maintain this connection and be conscious of the subtlest impressions expressed by our animal. And of course, it does take concentration, but it's really about being present in the moment. And as you practice this active listening, it will become easier for you. And as we practice and we practice and we practice, of course, everything becomes easier. So notice how long you can keep focused on one simple task before you want to check your Instagram page or refresh your emails. It's become common, hasn't it, to flip from this to the other. So you just want to communicate with animals by bringing yourself into the present moment and giving them all of your attention. In animal communication, we have 6 modes of both sending and receiving information. We've got seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting, and intuition itself, the gut, knowing. And communication this way, it's subtler and it's softer than the spoken word. In fact, animal communication can be a bit like driving a car, because you often use more than one skill at a time, and none of them are mutually exclusive or, superior to another. So it's quite normal to start out being better at receiving with 1 or 2 modes, but which mode is strongest will vary between people. So let's have a look at the different modes you can use to receive information from animals and get a feel for which is your strongest. So number 1, seeing images. The best way to understand how this mode works is to remember that it's like seeing pictures when we're dreaming, some so vivid that we feel we're in the dream itself. And in our dreams, we can process color and contrast and shape and movement just as when we're awake. So we're communicating with an animal and feeling we can do that same thing. We can receive those images so vividly, just like when we're dreaming. Number 2 is hearing thoughts. And this is when you receive thoughts from an animal. So you're probably receiving thoughts from your animal a lot of the time anyway, but you might not be aware of them. So to hone this skill, you need to practice being a very attentive listener. And this tends to be the hardest method of receiving, because people struggle to trust that the information is from the animal rather than themselves, or isn't their own mind, making it up. If you were to ask my feline co-author of Animal Communication Made Easy, what's your favorite food? He would have replied directly into your mind, and you'd hear these words, fish, fish. And most of the time, you'll hear these thought forms with your own inner voice. In other words, it will sound just like you, like when you're reading a book. And the type of person who receives information from an animal via this method might be somebody who works with words a lot. So like a teacher, a writer, a speaker, somebody who writes reports, gives presentations, or, spends a lot of time listening to or creating words for whatever reason. The 3rd mode is emotions. So you're quite possibly already receiving your animal's emotions. You might feel your horse's excitement when you're letting them out into the field, or your cat's fear when you're taking them to be checked by the vet. And by understanding your animal's feelings, you can understand an awful lot. And those who find it easiest to receive information from an animal via this mode are more likely to work in a caring setting, such as a therapist, a social worker, a nurse, a Reiki practitioner, a counselor, or animal rescue worker, or someone who is comfortable about expressing their own emotions or having someone else express their emotions to them. Number 4, feeling physical sensations. So you may ask your animal how they're feeling and have a dull pain in your left foot, which would be the equivalent of their left hind paw or hoof. And the good news is that you don't own these sensations. You log into the frequency of the sensation, understand it, and then you just allow it to pass through you. So it's just a fleeting moment where an animal lets you know what they're feeling in their physical body. And number 5 is smell. Mine used to be absolutely terrible. Then one day it just kind of got switched on. And now I live with a dog who loves to roll in fox poo, and I just want to switch it off again. There are a handful of people who are really sensitive to smell and aware of it the moment they walk into the room. You know, you might be one of these people who find that smell is your strongest mode. The 6 is tasting. Who doesn't love to eat just the most gorgeous tasting food? Animals also, not all of them, but most of them absolutely love to share their favorite taste with us. And the people who mainly communicate with animals this way usually get a lot of pleasure out of the different tastes and flavors of their own food. And you can practice this. So next time you eat, practice naming the flavors as well as the texture, how it makes you feel. Is it sweet, sour, bitter, salty, or savory, smooth or crunchy? So I suggest you play with all the modes and strengthen them with practice, so that you've got the entire toolbox at your disposal. And this will help you become more precise with the details and therefore more accurate in your communication. So just play around with it, because then you start to build that telepathic muscle. So I hope you found it insightful hearing about the different modes you can use to communicate with your animals, to receive information from them. I would love to hear how the information comes to you and any impressions you receive. So just please leave a comment on this video and let me know. And this is just the beginning of developing your animal communication abilities and just opening yourself up to receive information and messages from animals. And once you begin to practice this on a regular basis, you'll find your confidence will grow and the communication becomes easier with all sentient beings. I hope you're feeling inspired to start honing your intuition and believing in your ability to connect and communicate with animals. We have only just scratched the surface of what is possible for you and the potential animal communication has to change your life. I love the idea, and I visualize it a lot, that everyone on the planet is communicating with animals. And that's why I've decided to create a free online animal communication training to help you to deepen your connection and successfully communicate with animals. Animal communication is not reading an animal's body language or understanding the psychology of a species. In fact, it's something much deeper. It's more profound and much more moving. It's an intuitive exchange of non-verbal information and a universal language across species. And as you become more aware, more connected, and more empowered, you can create a kinder, gentler, and more compassionate world for every creature that inhabits it. It is my intention that you'll awaken to your own intuitive gifts. So in my free training, the first part is called Learning to Listen to Animals. The second is growing connections with outdoor creatures. And the third is embracing sacred relationship with the animal kingdom. So it's a 3-part series, which includes teaching and a communication practice linked to that training focus. So 3 practice communications, because practice is key. So if you want to reclaim your superpower, if you want to explore communicating with animals, please sign up for this free training. It's weekly. It begins on the 30th of June, then the 7th of July and the 14th of July. And it's available to you wherever you are in the world, because I will be recording each part and there will be replays available to you for a limited time. I would love it if you can attend live with me and join me in the Zoom room, and we can explore animal communication together, and we can talk about your experience, and you can ask me questions. And each week we can build on the one before. If you're anything like me, when I first discovered animal communication, you will be buzzing. So if you are ready to start communicating with animals and awaken to a new, compassionate, heart-led way of being, register for my online training and let's take this amazing journey together. It takes place at 11 a.m. PT, 2 p.m. ET, and 7 p.m. UK London time. So I'm sure wherever you are in the world, you'll also be able to work it out for your time zone. So we start on the 30th of June, then the 7th and the 14th of July, and it's completely free. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to being able to share the joy of animal communication with you in my 3-part training. Places are limited. So if this resonates, don't hang about, click the link, sign up, and I really hope that you will join me. Much love. Thank you.